Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating topic that's all about mastering communication in relationships, specifically how high-value women speak to men in a way that makes them miss them badly. Let's face it, when you're a high-value woman, you don't have to chase, beg, or constantly seek attention. Your words hold weight, and you know how to use them to create a sense of mystery and longing. You understand that it's not about over-communicating or overwhelming him with texts or constant affection. Instead, it's about speaking in a way that makes him miss you, think about you, and desire more. When you master the art of communication, you capture his attention and make him yearn for your presence, all without saying too much. In this video, I'll break down the key strategies that high-value women use to leave a lasting impression on men, strategies that keep them coming back for more, thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Stay tuned and let's get started. Chapter 1: The Power of Subtlety. When high-value women communicate with men, they understand the immense power of subtlety. It's not about bombarding him with an endless stream of texts or over-explaining every little detail of their lives and emotions. Instead, it's about creating an air of mystery, allowing space for curiosity to build. High-value women know that when they speak, their words are more impactful when they leave a bit to the imagination. By not revealing everything about themselves all at once, they invite questions, keeping the man intrigued and eager to know more. This is the foundation of emotional magnetism, creating a sense of mystery that keeps him thinking about you long after the conversation has ended. For example, imagine you've just had an incredible date with someone. It was fun, exciting, and left you both feeling connected. Rather than texting him immediately with a long message expressing every detail of how much you enjoyed the night, a high-value woman might send something simple, yet impactful like, "Had a great time tonight. Looking forward to the next one." This short, sweet message says just enough without going overboard. It communicates that you enjoyed the evening, but it doesn't overwhelm him with an emotional flood. This type of message creates a powerful balance, leaving him with a sense of wanting more. Instead of telling him everything, you let him fill in the gaps. It's an art form, a mix of confidence, restraint, and charm that keeps him curious. The key here is the idea of space and the power of restraint. By not over-texting or over-explaining yourself, you make him miss your presence. When you hold back a little bit, he'll start wondering when he'll see you again, and what else you might be thinking or feeling. This mystery creates a desire to spend more time with you, to uncover more layers of your personality, and to enjoy the thrill of learning about you over time. High-value women are comfortable with this dynamic. They don't need to rush into revealing everything about themselves right away. Instead, they understand that real attraction builds over time, through shared experiences and thoughtful exchanges, not through constant communication. High-value women also know that they don't need to chase a man through excessive communication. In fact, when you're constantly texting, calling, or over-explaining your feelings, it can make you come across as overly eager or desperate. This isn't the energy that attracts high-value men. Instead, it's the woman who allows space for the man to come to her. When she speaks, she does so with purpose and intention, knowing that every word has weight. She doesn't flood him with texts, but rather keeps him engaged and wanting more with every interaction. The mystery you create by withholding some information and leaving space for him to ask questions is incredibly powerful. It keeps him on his toes, wondering when he will get to see you again and what the next conversation will bring. The impact of subtlety is amplified by the emotional space it provides. When you don't overwhelm a man with constant communication, you give him the chance to miss you. It creates a natural ebb and flow in your interactions, where both parties are excited to reconnect and deepen their bond. There is a certain allure in the unknown, and a high-value woman knows exactly how to leverage that. Rather than giving everything away at once, she keeps him guessing, keeps him wanting more, and ultimately keeps him invested in her presence. The power of subtlety isn't just about what you say, but also what you don't say. It's about creating a sense of anticipation that makes him think about you long after the conversation has ended. By not over-texting, over-explaining, or revealing every part of yourself all at once, you create a space where curiosity and attraction can thrive. And this, my friends, is how you make a lasting impact without saying too much. Chapter 2: Speak with confidence, not desperation. High value women are masters of communication, and one of the key ways they differentiate themselves from others is by speaking with confidence, not desperation. When a woman understands her worth, she communicates from a place of self assurance, which is inherently attractive. She doesn't chase after validation, nor does she beg for attention. Instead, she expects to be treated with respect and values herself enough to never settle for less. Confidence in speech doesn't mean bragging or dominating conversations. It's about being grounded in who you are, comfortable in your own skin, and expressing your thoughts without needing constant reassurance. This kind of communication not only makes a woman more appealing, but also encourages a healthy, balanced dynamic in any relationship. For example, many women may be tempted to express their feelings by sending a text like, "I miss you so much, I've been thinking about you nonstop." While this might seem sweet and heartfelt, it can come across as needy or overly eager. It places a sense of urgency on the other person, implying that your emotional stability is dependent on their response. This kind of desperation is often a turnoff because it puts pressure on the man to fill the emotional void, which can create an imbalance in the relationship. Desperation often signals insecurity and a lack of self worth, which can make a high value man feel burdened rather than intrigued. On the other hand, when a high value woman sends a message like, "I've been busy, but I think about our time together often," she conveys a similar sentiment but in a much more composed and balanced way. This message is emotionally open, but it doesn't hinge on the man's response to feel validated. It shows that while she values him and the connection they share, she's emotionally independent and doesn't rely on constant affirmations. This level of confidence is magnetic because it communicates self sufficiency and emotional maturity. It's the perfect blend of expressing interest without appearing desperate. By communicating in this way, high value women allow space for a man to miss them. When you're not overly eager to express every emotion or constantly chase attention, you create an emotional distance that fosters desire. Men, like anyone, need a little space to reflect and realize how much someone means to them. When a woman shows she's not desperate for constant validation, it makes her more intriguing because she isn't all available or too accessible. She has her own life, her own interests, and she isn't relying on the man to make her feel complete. This absence of desperation naturally creates a sense of longing and intrigue on his end. Confidence also allows for a more organic flow in the relationship. When you don't overtext, overcall, or overexplain yourself, you give him the space to appreciate you in his own time. This doesn't mean playing games or being aloof, but rather striking the balance of showing genuine interest while maintaining emotional independence. It also fosters a healthier dynamic where both individuals feel valued for who they are, not just what they can offer in terms of emotional support. When a woman communicates from a place of confidence, she's not just telling him she's valuable, she's showing it in every word and action. This kind of communication elevates the relationship and ensures that the man sees her as someone who is worthy of his time, energy, and commitment. Furthermore, speaking with confidence cultivates a sense of trust and security within the relationship. When you're emotionally secure and don't need constant affirmation, it sets a strong foundation for both partners to thrive individually. This creates an environment where both people can bring their best selves to the relationship without the burden of trying to constantly fill each other's emotional needs. Instead, they can enjoy each other's company, build mutual respect, and develop a deeper connection over time. In conclusion, speaking with confidence rather than desperation not only boosts your own self esteem, but also enhances the dynamic with the person you're engaging with. It shows that you have a strong sense of self worth and don't rely on others to feel complete. This type of communication doesn't demand attention, It naturally attracts it, and it makes him miss you even more. When a man sees that you're emotionally stable and independent, he'll be drawn to you because you're a reflection of the kind of relationship he desires, one that's built on respect, equality, and mutual appreciation. Chapter 3: The Art of Playful Teasing. Playful teasing is an incredibly effective tool for high value women when interacting with men, as it keeps them engaged, intrigued, and wanting more. This technique isn't about being rude or hurtful, but is rooted in creating a fun, dynamic, and lighthearted atmosphere that fosters attraction and connection. When done right, playful teasing can make a man feel excited to be around you and think about you long after the interaction ends. It's a way of showing affection while maintaining a sense of mystery and making the relationship feel fresh and fun. The key to successful playful teasing is striking the right balance between humor and affection. Instead of being overly serious or dramatic, high value women keep things light and fun, creating a playful back and forth that invites connection without making things too intense. For example, if a man does something slightly silly or clumsy, a high value woman might tease him by saying, "You're lucky I like you, or I might have thought you were a bit of a goof." This type of playful banter doesn't embarrass him or put him down. It creates an inside joke, which strengthens the bond between you. It shows that you enjoy his company and don't take everything too seriously. One of the most powerful aspects of playful teasing is that it keeps a sense of excitement in the dynamic. When you tease a man in a light-hearted way, it creates a sense of curiosity, and he's likely to be thinking about the interaction after you've parted ways. This leaves him wanting to know more about you, wonder what's next, and build a sense of anticipation for future conversations. It's a technique that adds spice to the interaction without the need for over the top flirtation or emotional pressure. This kind of engagement is subtle yet powerful, giving him the desire to stay connected with you. Teasing also helps to create a sense of playfulness in the relationship, which can make both partners feel more comfortable and relaxed. It signals that you're not overly invested in every word or action, which removes unnecessary pressure. High value women know that relationships don't always have to be intense or filled with heavy conversation. Sometimes, the best way to build attraction is by simply enjoying the light moments and laughing together. Teasing helps to show that you're confident enough to be playful and can handle imperfections with humor and charm. Moreover, playful teasing can serve as a way to demonstrate interest without coming on too strong. By being lighthearted and subtle, you keep the tension between you both, which increases desire. When you're playful with a man, you show that you're interested in him without overwhelming him with your emotions or intentions. It gives him space to pursue you without feeling pressured, and it subtly makes him realize that you're someone he wants to spend more time with. Another powerful aspect of playful teasing is that it makes the relationship feel dynamic and constantly evolving. Instead of simply being a series of standard, predictable conversations, it introduces an element of spontaneity and fun. Each time you tease him, it's an invitation to keep things exciting, and he'll look forward to your next interaction with the same anticipation as before. The key here is consistency. Keeping up the playful banter will ensure that the relationship remains fresh, enjoyable, and always filled with little surprises. Ultimately, playful teasing is one of the most effective ways high value women build attraction and keep a man interested without seeming desperate or needy. It's not about making him feel bad, but about engaging with him in a way that is fun, flirtatious, and full of energy. By using playful teasing, you not only keep the relationship exciting, but also create a deeper emotional bond built on humor, respect, and shared enjoyment. It's an essential tool in maintaining a strong connection while also keeping a sense of mystery that draws him in and leaves him wanting more. Chapter 4: Quality over Quantity. When it comes to communication, a high value woman understands the profound truth that quality always trumps quantity. Rather than flooding a man's phone with a constant stream of messages, she knows that her words have far greater impact when they are deliberate and meaningful. She doesn't need to chase him with incessant texts or trivial updates. Instead, she focuses on making each interaction count. And in doing so, she creates a sense of longing and anticipation in him. High value women understand that it's not the frequency of the messages, but the depth of the communication that keeps the connection strong and vibrant. For instance, rather than sending a message like, "What are you doing?" multiple times throughout the day, an interaction that can feel shallow and transactional, a high value woman might instead choose to send a message that reflects genuine thoughtfulness and connection. She might say, "I was thinking about you today and wanted to check in." In that simple phrase, she's conveyed more than just an update about her day. She's shown that she values him enough to share her thoughts and take the time to reach out in a meaningful way. The single message resonates much more deeply than several casual exchanges, creating an emotional connection that is far more lasting. The magic of sending fewer but more meaningful messages is that it fosters a sense of anticipation. When you're selective with your communication, each message becomes more significant, and the moments between interactions are filled with longing. It's a sense of mystery and expectation that makes a man miss you. He begins to look forward to the next time you reach out, eager for the emotional depth that your words carry. By making each conversation matter, you create a dynamic where he cherishes your messages and starts to miss the moments you share. High value women understand that over communicating can dilute the impact of their words. When there is too much talking, too many messages, or too many updates throughout the day, the conversation loses its significance. It becomes something to fill the gaps in the day rather than something meaningful. Instead of sending a quick, "Hey," or "What's up?" just to maintain contact, a high value woman will focus on crafting messages that are purposeful. Whether it's expressing something she's been reflecting on, sharing a meaningful thought, or simply letting him know she's thinking of him, each message feels intentional and not forced. This approach not only keeps the man engaged, but also sets the tone for the relationship. By choosing to communicate thoughtfully, you show that you value not only his time, but also the moments you share. High value women never feel the need to constantly chase for attention or validation through endless texts. They're emotionally independent and secure enough to let things unfold naturally. This self assurance is incredibly attractive because it signals that you are whole and complete on your own, and that the communication you offer is a gift, not a necessity. The beauty of sending fewer but more meaningful messages is that it also allows space for the other person to miss you. When a man doesn't hear from you constantly, he's left to reflect on the moments you shared. The absence of continuous interaction makes the times you do communicate feel that much more special. He'll start to wonder what you're up to, what you're thinking, and when the next opportunity to hear from you will be. This natural buildup of curiosity creates an emotional void that only you can fill, which heightens his desire to reconnect. In addition, it's important to note that quality communication is not just about the words you use, it's also about the emotional energy you bring to the conversation. High value women know that their words should be uplifting, thoughtful, and aligned with their true feelings. They don't waste time on conversations that don't serve their emotional well being. Instead, they engage in dialogues that inspire, connect, and deepen the bond. By focusing on quality interactions, you ensure that the connection remains genuine and that both parties leave the conversation feeling enriched. Ultimately, the secret to making him miss you lies in the art of thoughtful communication. High value women know that less is often more. By choosing to send fewer, more meaningful messages, you not only create a sense of longing, but also build a deeper emotional connection. When every message has purpose, it stands out in a way that constant communication can never achieve. By making each interaction count, you allow space for the other person to reflect, to anticipate, and to miss you in between conversations. Quality, not quantity, is what fosters a lasting and meaningful connection. Chapter 5: Use Your Silence Wisely. One of the most impactful tools that high value women use in relationships is the strategic use of silence. It's a subtle yet powerful tactic that often speaks louder than words. High value women understand that sometimes saying nothing at all can have a much greater impact than constant communication. When you're not always available, when you don't answer texts immediately or feel the need to keep the conversation going endlessly, it creates a natural space for him to miss you. This silence doesn't come from a place of disinterest or manipulation. It comes from understanding your own value and knowing that you don't need to constantly validate your presence or over-communicate to keep someone's attention. For example, after a meaningful conversation or date, instead of jumping to reply to every message right away, a high-value woman might take a little time before responding. This slight delay doesn't come across as cold or uninterested. Instead, it allows the man to feel a sense of longing, wondering when he'll hear from you again. It also gives him space to process the time you spent together and reflect on it, which only strengthens his desire to connect with you more. This pause in communication allows the emotional impact of your words and presence to linger, making him appreciate your interactions more deeply. Silence in this context is about balance and boundaries. It's not about playing games or manipulating someone's emotions for the sake of power. Rather, it's about establishing healthy boundaries in a relationship. High value women know that their time and energy are precious, and they don't need to be constantly available or readily accessible at the drop of a hat. By setting this kind of emotional boundary, they avoid becoming overly dependent on constant communication, which can lead to burnout, unnecessary anxiety, or the feeling of losing their sense of self in the relationship. The key here is knowing when to engage and when to step back. When a high value woman chooses not to answer immediately or not to initiate every conversation, she's not only creating a sense of mystery, but also maintaining her autonomy. She's reminding herself and the other person that her time is valuable. This delay in communication also gives the other person the opportunity to miss her and think about her more. When you're constantly responding right away or always available, it can lead to a sense of complacency or overfamiliarity. People may begin to take each other's time for granted, and the moments of connection may lose their value. Taking a step back gives the relationship space to breathe. This subtle form of communication makes the moments when you do respond or engage more meaningful and anticipated. By not answering immediately, you make each conversation feel more deliberate and intentional. This creates a natural rhythm in the relationship, where both people are eager for the next connection, and the time between interactions builds anticipation. Silence also allows for a deeper emotional reflection. When there's less constant communication, both parties have time to think about each other, about the interactions they've shared, and about their feelings. This pause can create emotional growth and clarity. High value women understand that constant texting or messaging doesn't equate to a deeper connection. It's the quality of the interaction that matters more. Sometimes a well timed silence is exactly what's needed to keep things exciting, fresh, and meaningful. It's important to note that this isn't about being distant or unresponsive. Rather, it's about choosing when and how to respond in a way that ensures your interactions are impactful. Silence doesn't mean withdrawal, it simply means creating a healthy distance that allows for reflection, longing, and the excitement of waiting for the next moment of connection. In conclusion, silence is a powerful tool when used wisely. By not constantly being available or responding instantly, a high value woman maintains a sense of mystery and intrigue. This strategic use of silence helps build anticipation, making each interaction more meaningful. It encourages the other person to value your time and your words, and it ensures that your presence is felt deeply when you do choose to engage. Silence isn't a sign of disinterest, it's a sign of self assurance and the understanding that sometimes saying less can make your words and your presence more impactful. Chapter 6. Speak with emotion, but not overload. One of the hallmarks of a high value woman's communication style is her emotional intelligence. She knows how to express her feelings in a way that is sincere and meaningful, but never overwhelming. High value women understand that emotional expression is important in relationships, but they also know that there is a delicate balance between sharing vulnerability and overloading someone with emotion. They are skilled at conveying their feelings in a way that feels personal, yet doesn't create pressure or demand excessive emotional labor from the other person. This kind of emotional restraint is what makes their words so powerful and impactful. For example, instead of sending a long drawn out text about everything they've been feeling and over explaining every emotion, a high value woman will keep it short and thoughtful. She might send a simple, heartfelt message like, "I've been thinking a lot about us, and I'm really glad we met." This message communicates genuine emotion without laying an emotional burden on the other person. It leaves the door open for deeper conversations but doesn't overwhelm him with a flood of feelings that might feel too intense too soon. It's an expression of warmth and appreciation, giving him a glimpse into her emotional world without oversharing or creating pressure. The power of this style of communication lies in its simplicity. By choosing her words carefully, a high value woman ensures that every message she sends carries weight. She understands that by holding back some of her emotions, she creates an air of mystery that makes her more intriguing. It also gives the man the space to process and reflect on what she said. It's about leaving just enough room for him to wonder what she's thinking and to keep him coming back for more. When high value women speak with emotion, but don't overburden the other person, they are demonstrating confidence in their own emotional state. They are comfortable with their feelings, but they don't need constant validation or to pour all their emotions out for the other person to handle. This is a reflection of their emotional maturity and understanding that relationships are about balance, sharing feelings while respecting the space and emotional capacity of others. Overloading someone with too much emotion too quickly can be overwhelming and create a sense of pressure, which is the opposite of attraction. By choosing when and how to express emotions, high value women maintain a sense of control and composure, even when expressing heartfelt sentiments. This kind of communication also keeps things from becoming one sided. When you're constantly expressing deep feelings or sharing all your vulnerabilities, it can shift the emotional dynamic, making the other person feel like they are responsible for your emotional well being. High value women understand that their emotional well being is their responsibility, and they never use others as a source of emotional validation. Instead, they communicate their emotions in a way that invites connection without creating dependence. By speaking with emotional intelligence, a high value woman also ensures that her words feel special and impactful. When you don't speak about your emotions all the time, every time you do, it carries more significance. This creates an emotional depth that leaves a lasting impression, making the other person feel valued and important. It allows the relationship to develop at a natural pace, rather than rushing into deep emotional territory too quickly, which can sometimes lead to overwhelm or emotional burnout. Moreover, this balanced approach to emotional expression keeps things exciting. By not overloading the other person with constant emotional updates or long confessions, a high value woman keeps the other person intrigued, curious, and invested in the relationship. This doesn't mean withholding your true feelings, but rather being mindful of how and when you share them. By expressing emotions thoughtfully, you keep the connection meaningful and ensure that each emotional expression feels authentic and well timed. In conclusion, speaking with emotion but not overload is a crucial skill for high value women. It's about finding the balance between expressing vulnerability and maintaining emotional boundaries. By sharing heartfelt sentiments in a way that doesn't overwhelm, high value women create a deeper, more meaningful connection with the people they care about. They know that sometimes less is more. By not overloading someone with emotional content, they make every emotional expression feel impactful, thoughtful, and sincere. This approach fosters a healthy emotional dynamic in relationships, where both people feel comfortable, respected, and intrigued. In conclusion, the way high value women communicate with men is rooted in intention, authenticity, and emotional intelligence. It's not about playing games or manipulating feelings, but understanding the power of subtlety, confidence, playful teasing, and meaningful silence. By speaking with purpose, high value women create lasting impressions that keep men thinking about them long after their conversations end. So, how will you use these strategies in your own life? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.